There's a couple of developments, right? As Courtney well knows, and Courtney, you're part of the reporting team, I believe, on this, that President Zelensky, in a call to President Biden, asked the president to declare Russia a state sponsor of terror. We also have that new warning from Russia to the U.S. in this diplomatic note, right, that said U.S. and NATO shipments of weapon systems to Ukraine were adding fuel to the conflict, could bring unpredictable consequences. I know that your team also has some reporting that the U.S. is essentially saying, per sources, hey, this isn't the red phone ringing in the Oval Office.
Right.
You know, this isn't, we're not going to overinterpret this. We sort of expect this, but it is still somewhat significant.
Yeah, that's right, Hallie. I mean, think about the headline that we've been talking about at this point the last 2 days. It's the significant transfer of even more sophisticated military assistance by the United States to the Ukraine, up to $800 billion worth just this week, in the form of more advanced weaponry, these howitzers, these armored vehicles, helicopters, and these switchblades, these advanced killer drones, as they're called, to the Ukrainians. Well, as this is happening, the Russian embassy here in D.C. sending to the State Department what's called a démarche, a formal diplomatic communication, which is warning about what they're calling the irresponsible militarization of Ukraine. Now, for its part, the White House is saying they are receiving this note. They are not viewing it as threatening. As you say, this is not the red phone in the Oval Office. But the White House is also touting the fact that this exists, saying it's just a demonstration of the fact that the kind of assistance the U.S. is providing to Ukraine is having a very real impact on the battlefield. And we've heard the White House not necessarily using terms like defensive assistance anymore as they provide this kind of equipment. The White House has been walking a fine line throughout this process, though, Hallie, as you know, trying to avoid moves that could be seen as escalatory. And we are seeing that in two forms. One, the call from Zelensky yesterday asking President Biden to consider designating Russia as a state sponsor of terror. This is something that White House officials have been asked about in the past. Secretary of State Tony Blinken just last month saying it was something they're considering. But this is more than just a term of art that would be used, just as we've been talking about with genocide. This is a designation that would come with very real consequences, much more punishing sanctions that would be imposed if that come with this designation. Only 4 other countries are designated as such. And the other concern on the part of the administration, and we're hearing it not just from President Zelensky, but from our own CIA director, Bill Burns, who is warning about the fact that the desperation we are seeing, the good news on the battlefield, right, comes with risks, that the desperation, as Burns puts it, on the part of Russia could lead to the potential use of nuclear weapons. It's all part of the balancing act this White House is monitoring as they weigh every next move to support Ukraine throughout this conflict.